Welcome to the Straight Up Pod. I'm Sujeiry.
I'm Jessi.
And we're here to talk about love,
sex,
motherhood,
empowerment
from a growth mindset.
Woo-hoo.
Hello, everyone. Oh, look, I have my little pillow in the back. I didn't even realize. Hey, you two.
We are back.
We're back. Sorry, guys. I'm literally like trying to get a pillow out. This is my comfy back pillow, guys. The epidural will be kicking. The epidural I had 9 years ago still hurts my back.
It won't go away.
No, I have a stiff back every morning.
It won't go away.
Let me tell you.
Because I still suffer from it.
So excuse me, people.
29 years later.
As I try. Don't get an epidural, ladies. You might be tempted when you're dying, but you're going to have this pain.
Hello. How is everyone? How are you?
I'm good. Celebrated my birthday.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The big 4/8.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, 48 where? I had people on Instagram being like, why? You look like you're 38, girl. Well, I was like, exactly. I be claiming that shit every day. Look at me looking like I'm still in my 30s.
You had a great time?
I did have a great time. I went to the city. It was a packed week, and we talked about it before. Like, I didn't want to do a weekend thing. I didn't want to do every day. I just wanted to celebrate the day that I came out of my mother's vajayjay. That's it. So,
cookie.
Yeah, so I went into the city, and it was amazing. And yeah, I have a truth palm because of it. But
good.
I was with my cousins.
I'm glad. I'm so glad you had a good time.
My two best friends. So amazing time was had.
Good.
Busy day. I also did my professional photo shoot.
I saw it.
And it was so
I can't
fun.
wait to see all the other pictures.
You got to do
really
it.
can.
It's so fun. Shout out to Alexa Benitez. She's Puerto Rican and Colombian. I wanted to find a Latina photographer on Long Island.
It's funny because I do have something in the works that I am going to be doing. I don't want to talk about it yet.
I know. She be secretive even with me, people. I don't know what's happening either. Okay, don't take it personal.
Yeah, there is something coming. There's something brewing.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I have always a million things brewing.
Yeah.
Literally.
I know.
I'm just like, there were 7 planets in Aries. In like 7 planets in one sign astrologically, like that is, I don't think that's ever happened in our lifetime. And so it's go time because Aries, I'm an Aries, is like, what you doing with your life? Why you sitting there? You better do something. So that's me. Like, ooh, I gotta do more. Like I need to do more.
Yeah.
I always want to do more. So yes, it was a great week.
Good. I'm glad.
Yes, we did not record an episode last time. Our schedules did not align. Birthday stuff, spring stuff, life stuff, work
busy.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to talk about work.
No, we're not going to talk about work. This is work.
On that topic.
Yeah, this is work. I always tell people I don't talk about work. I talk about work with my coworkers,
and that's it.
So none of my friends ever ask me about my job because I'm like, "Are you my coworker? Is it between the hours of 9 to 5? Am I out to dinner with you to talk about employment?" Unless you're looking for a job, don't ask me about my job.
Yeah.
You know?
So, next.
Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, we are here and you all voted.
Back. Yes.
Thank you all for those who voted.
I have to say, I am a little surprised.
At the topic?
Yeah. I am, but I'm not at the same time.
I'm trying to remember what were the other topics.
The second one was about open relationships.
Right.
If that's your thing, how do you feel about it? And then the third one was grandparent relationships.
I wasn't surprised that the grandparents thing didn't.
So the openness with your kids is that 100%.
What we're talking about today, like how open are you with your kids? And obviously, like we have different relationships with our kids because my kid is only 9. So I can be like, bueno, mijo, déjame decirte lo que pasó. Like it's very different. And your daughter is obviously an adult.
Yeah.
But I think about that. And my opinion of that has changed in certain ways. Mm-hmm. Because, when I was angry with my ex, you know how it is. You know how it is, women or men too. Yeah. When you're like, ese maldito, yo lo voy a decir todo. I'm going to tell our children everything of what you put me through, right? Wait till he gets older so I can let everyone know, including him, what you did to me, right? And I used to think that. I used to be like, yeah, Evan's going to know. Evan's going to know why we really broke up. Evan's going to know. And now I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Si él me pregunta, I'm going to be honest.
Right.
He asks me.
Right.
But I think because I was bitter way back when, people, I'm not bitter anymore. I was really like, I cannot wait for the day that your son knows who you really are. Yo, people that have been through that have been in that energy and that mindset because you're so hurt, know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And if you're still in that energy, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So yeah, your daughter is an adult, so what do you share with her, what you don't?
So my perspective with her since she was a little girl was always, my thought process was always that I was always going to be honest with her.
Okay.
You know, if she asks questions, of course there's boundaries, like at certain ages you don't need to know certain things, but you know, as she got older and she had questions, and yeah, like I've been honest with her. I can't really say that there's anything that I haven't been truthful with her about. She knows I stepped out on her dad.
Okay. You know, I was gonna say, how deep did you go?
She knows, like, we've had that conversation. She knows, of course, now, you know, about his lifestyle and stuff like that. As she got older, she realized it herself. Yeah. You know, and there's really nothing, like, I'm just so honest with her. Like, she knows when I was in my younger years, I was a little bit promiscuous, I would say.
You were having fun.
I was.
I don't like the word promiscuous because it has a negative connotation.
No, I was.
You were sexually
I was enjoying
free.
myself. Yeah, I wasn't. And she, like, these are the conversations that now she's older. You know, she's a woman. Of course, I wouldn't have conversations like that with her when she's like 9, 10 years old. Of course. You know, but you know, she's older. She's 29. Our relationship, you know, has flourished. You know, we've always had a really good relationship. So I don't feel like, I don't know, there really aren't things that I can say that, you know, she'll ask me something and I'm 100% honest with her.
Well, I think what is nice is that you and her get along, because I think it's a different when it's a different type of dynamic between like mother and child. Like, everyone has a different personality. You can give birth to these children and they can come out completely different than what you expected, and you don't even click. There's some parents that don't click with their kids. There's some parents that don't even like their kids. Okay, so I think it's nice because you do have a relationship with her where you can be open, but a lot of it is because you're open, but because you actually have a rapport, like you actually get along. You like hanging out with each other. You like each other as people. Not everyone can say that about their kids. I know. I mean, there's some kids that don't like their parents. Exactly. You know? Exactly. And sometimes it's because the parents did some shit. Sometimes it's just because the parents, they don't have the same personality.
Exactly. You know? I get it. Like, you know, her father put me through like shit. Yeah. You know, like those that know, like not just me, but my family, you know, but, and that's not anything I'm going to get into details about. But I never, even with that, like, even when she was little, I never, as angry and as hurt as I was, it was never in my mind to be like, you know, I'm going to let her know. That just wasn't me.
It was in my mind. I'm going to let my son know exactly when he's older what happened. But then, you know, again, I was in a place where I was like really bitter. Right. And then I see how, like, obviously my son's father is a great father, you know, like I'm a great mom, but he's the type of dad that I wanted to have for my children. Right. And so I'm glad that I chose him to be the father of my child, you know. And
so it didn't work out for you and him.
No, but it worked out.
But the relationship that he has with his son. Yes. And him being, you know, he's a great father. So he's a great father. He just wasn't
a great partner.
The great partner.
Yeah. So, and because of that, I chose, like, if my son asks me when he's older, like, I'll be honest. Now he asks me, well, why are you or daddy not, because he's 9 again, why are you and daddy like not married anymore? And I said, you know, because daddy and I stopped loving each other in the way that husband and wives do. And we weren't married, we were engaged, but it's just easier to say we were married because I was engaged. And I say to him, you know, we just started liking each other as friends. I said, so, and I said, and you should marry someone that's your friend. You should want to be with someone that's your friend, but you need to like them as more than a friend. Exactly. So that's how I explain it now. And then, you know, again, and then I have a son. So I don't know, like, what he's going to want to know when he's older. Like, I was telling Jessi earlier when we were setting up, like, my son's a mini cock blocker, yo. Like, If I go out and I'm all dressed up, he's very complimentary. He's like, Mommy, you look so beautiful. Wow, that dress. Wow, I like that lipstick. Y él es bien detallista. Like, he pays attention to if I have a new hair color. He'll be like, Mommy, I like your hair. It's so blonde. Or, Mommy, your hair's so curly. And so he's very attentive, yeah. Right? But then the flip side of that is like, he's my little bodyguard. Like, if I'm walking and he sees the guys looking, Mommy, why is he looking at you? I don't like it. Or if I start like dancing and shaking my butt, even at family parties, Mommy, stop, Mommy, you're embarrassing me. I'm like, how am I embarrassing you? God. Your friends ain't here. But he's like, Mommy, stop shaking your butt like that. So he is very, and I think all my friends that have boys have told me, yeah, boys are like that. They're like, and watch till you get
That's
older.
So cute, though. I find that so cute. I really do.
And my friends are like, that have teenagers, watch till they become a teenager, even when they're in their 20s. Where you going? Who you talking to? Why you look like that? Why you have so much like people like it doesn't get easier. When they get older, they get even more overprotective, especially because they're taller than you. They get bigger than you. Yeah,
that is cute.
So he asks me questions, as a 9-year-old does. Not something he doesn't ask me anything super complex, but I am honest with him. He does ask me like, do you have a boyfriend? So, oh my God, the cutest thing happened. Oh, ¿qué pasó? Hash flash. She's waving. Watch us on YouTube, people, so you can see us in real time. See what happens in moments like these. We went for my birthday. I took him out to lunch. I pulled him out of school early so we can have like our little lunch date. And I had never done that, but I'm gonna do that every year because it was actually really nice. Aww. And I told him, no electronics. I'm putting my phone away. You're not gonna have a phone. You're not gonna have an iPad. We're just gonna have a conversation. Okay. But Mommy, I'm gonna be so bored. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm so fun. I'm like, I'm such a great conversationalist, baby. So en una, I'm asking him, do you have a crush? And he's like, yeah, her name is so-and-so. I said her name wrong. That's not how you say it. It's this way. Like, okay, baby, my bad. And then he turns to me. He's like, do you have a crush? And I thought it was the cutest thing that he started asking me, do you have a crush? And I said, yeah, I have a crush. And he's like, what's his name? And I told him the guy's name. I'm not going to shout it out here. And he was like, well, you and two should be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh my God.
That's what my son, who everyone was like, he's never going to let you out of the house with a man, was like, you should be boyfriend. Like, ooh. And then I said, well, it's not that, sometimes things aren't that easy. And he was like, I said, we haven't talked in a while. Do you have his phone number? I said, yeah. Oh, why don't you call him?
He is so cute. He really is so
And I was
cute.
like, I cannot believe I'm sitting here getting relationship advice from my 9-year-old. But it was very cute.
That is cute.
And I am honest with him. When he asked me, are you dating anyone? Do you have a boyfriend? And it's interesting because his father hides that stuff from him. So his father does have a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And I had asked him, I don't know if he's told him yet, but like my son is always around the girlfriend's kids, because my son gets along really well with her youngest son. And like my son loves him and they're like good friends, right? I've met her. We had Christmas Day, did lunch together. I've been to her house just to see where Evan is staying and hanging out.
Of course, yeah.
Right? I was like, I need your address. I need to know where my kid is when he's, spending the night with his dad here. He spends the night with his dad there. Even when her kids are with her, her ex-husband. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I remember asking my ex a couple of months ago, maybe like a month ago, like, oh, have you told him yet? Because he initially told me, oh, don't say that he's this girlfriend. I don't want to say anything. A month ago, he still hadn't said anything. I was like, do you think he's very fully aware that you're with this woman? And I don't know why.
Evan just thought that that's like
he says friend. That's my friend.
Okay.
But it's like, do you think that he isn't going to be 10? He has crushes.
Right, yeah.
He knows that if you're sleeping over a woman's house when the kids aren't there, that it's not a play date.
Yeah.
And if, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he knows. Well, no, I do ask. Does daddy sleep with you or does he sleep with, I'm not going to say her name, respect her privacy. And he says, oh no, daddy sleeps with me. So hasta cuando tenga,
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that my ex respects my son so much that he doesn't want to do anything that could be a little bit jarring.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because for the last 2 years, my ex and I have gone on like family vacations. Last year we went to DC because my son really wanted to go to DC. He's a history buff. He loves history. The year before we went to Orlando, we took him to Disney. And both times we like the first year, Orlando, Airbnb, same house. Second time, same hotel room, right, in DC. So yo le pregunté a my ex, also, are we going to do something family this year? Like, Evan hasn't mentioned it to me, but I don't know if you want to do something anyway. And my ex literally was like, yeah, I don't know, because I don't want to confuse Evan because of, my girlfriend. He said her name. And I was like, oh, this is serious. Yeah. Okay, he don't want the girlfriend to get upset. I know that's what that means. It ain't about Evan getting confused, baby. Evan knows his dad and I are not together. Yeah. There's no confusion there.
Yeah.
So,
but,
yeah.
No,
I respect it. Listen, I don't want that man here. Go ahead, girl. Listen, as long as you're treating my child,
that is number one.
And she is, and her and I have talked, and I think she seems like a lovely woman. She seems like a really good mom. She's a professional. She has a nice house. She got her life together.
That's good. That's all that matters.
Listen, she even invited me to, we have barbecues here. You should come to a barbecue with Evan. And I was like, I mean, I'm not going to do it, but sure. Thanks for the invite.
That's all that matters. That really is all that matters. But
it's interesting that his dad has not had that conversation.
Right, yeah.
And I wouldn't tell my son, like, immediately when I have a boyfriend. But, like, he's asking me questions about crushes and whatever. Right. And I'm very transparent about it, Yeah. And he's told me, I want you to have a boyfriend, mommy. I want someone to help you, which is the sweetest thing.
That's cute. That's cute. Yeah. But I mean, I think this generation now is a little bit different as far as being open and a little more honest with your kids about certain things. It also depends on the person, because I would say like way back when years.
How old when you was your mom and your dad with you? I mean, my mom didn't, I don't think my mom told me much, to be honest with you. I don't even really know much about my outside of what I saw growing up. I didn't really know, I don't know their love story.
I don't really, so, I mean, high school sweethearts is what, we were told. They went to prom together, then, got married, had me, what have you. As far as, like, a love story, I don't really know much about that either.
I just know one thing that my mom says, that she was sitting in La Galeria, which is a porch in the Dominican Republic, and my dad was from the same town over, and knew one of my uncles, my mother's brother, and that he was rode by with his motorcycle, and he saw my mother. He was like, "Ella va a ser mía. She will be mine." And that is so my dad. And he told me that story, and my mom told me that story, so it aligns. Yeah. But in terms of like their relationship, outside of what I knew, it was tumultuous. My dad, and I learned more about their relationship not because my mom told me or my dad told me, but because my godmother, when I went to Orlando, started telling me, and her husband, like, your dad did love your mom. He was just like really fucked up. Like, he had a rough upbringing. Didn't know that. Right. He like had issues with alcohol. I did knew that, right? Because I experienced that growing up.
Right. Yeah.
And he, just like was very macho. Always knew that also, but there was a lot of things, and I think I mentioned it, like that they talked about my mom in a way that like I've never seen her. And it was so nice to see someone else's my mom. Yeah. My mom from a different lens from, because they knew her when I was since I was a baby. Right. Yeah. So, but in terms of my mom actually sharing things, like if I ask her, my mom does tell me. She doesn't know. She doesn't hide anything from me. I have to say, now that I'm an adult, like probably when I was a teenager, she wouldn't share much. But I have asked like my mom questions, but sometimes she's like, "Ay, mija, yo no me recuerdo. That's so long ago."
But I also think that generation is like very,
protective of their stuff.
Hush about things.
Yeah. Well, I feel like a lot of generationally, like even our grandparents were raised like,
yeah. So
you don't want people in your business.
We did hear a lot of the negative. Like we never really heard any of the good, like love or affection, or it was just what he did, or that's
I have to give it to my mom. When we were growing up, I mean, we saw things, so we weren't blind, right? But when we were growing up, she didn't badmouth my dad like that.
Okay.
we found out things as we got older. Like when I was in my 20s, that's when I found out about all the infidelities and things that, like, even the women he was cheating on her with were due to her. Like, you know, so I learned about that stuff like maybe when I was around college. Like I was an adult, but I don't remember when I was a kid my mom being like, because he's always cheating on me, and this woman did this and this woman. I remember seeing my mom crying a lot, so I knew that she was unhappy. And I did, again, I saw abuse, I saw stuff. So again, I wasn't blind to like the alcoholism, the abuse, the yelling, you know, the verbal abuse, the physical abuse. It wasn't like I was blind to that, right? It was a very tumultuous household. I grew up in a very tumultuous
But even
household.
with all of that, she still didn't, her anger and and her hurt, you know, and her possibly feeling scorned, she didn't put that on you guys.
She didn't. I mean, it's not like she never said anything,
right?
But that wasn't. My mom always says it. Like that's why I have the saying, you know, uno llorando y el otro gozando, right? My mom was like, I'm gonna keep putting one foot forward. I gotta take care of 3 kids by myself.
Right.
I gotta better my life to better their life, and me being here bitching and moaning and miserable isn't gonna make that happen. And it's interesting because I saw my mom making moves. Like we moved to Massachusetts when I was 12. Like, you know, I saw her making moves, and even when we lived in Washington Heights, like we had a 3-bedroom and she would rent 2 bedrooms sometimes, so to make more money. Like, so my mother, I don't know, you remember la sociedad, when you like, you know, and if anybody doesn't know what a sociedad is, it's almost like, it's very cultural. Like a lot of African communities have that, Caribbeans, where it's like, you get a number from 1 to 10, there's 10 women, and there's a $5,000, let's say, and for this many months until you get that $5,000, everyone basically gets, whoever gets that $5,000. It's almost like saving in advance, and you always want the first number, because if you really want the money, you don't want to have to wait 10 months for the $5,000, because that's just saving $500 a month. That's just you saving yourself. But so my mom would always do sociedades. So if she needed money, she would do layaway all the time, you know. So even though things were rough, like I always felt like I didn't have, like I had what I needed, you know. I didn't have all the bells and whistles my son has. I don't have every toy in the world, but I never felt like I was lacking anything.
Neither did I, you know, or us growing up, you know. Single mom, you know, with 3 kids, and you know, it was, I'm pretty sure, like I can say that I did not have to go through that with my daughter. Like my daughter, just anything she wanted, she had, like she had it, you know. And I'm so thankful and blessed that, you know, I've always been put in a position where it's always been like that, you know. Growing up, you know, we didn't lack, you know, because we didn't at all.
I mean, I feel like my basic needs were met. It's not like I had, you know, I mean, and again, we didn't have a lot of space. My mom would rent like 2 rooms at a time. You know, there was a lot of people in our house all the time, because she, you know, was sharing bathrooms with like 5 people, you know, 7 people sometimes. So like, I think my point is, I don't think my mom wanted to waste energy bitching and moaning and being miserable. I think my mom was just like, I have to handle shit.
Have to keep going.
And I have to keep going. Tengo que seguir adelante, you know. And yes, I'm sure she cried. I'm sure. And I've seen my mom cry. I've seen her with all her sisters and her first cousins, you know, drinking Manichevi's wine in the living room, listening to baladas and bashing men. That's what they did. Porque ese maldito. And, you know, but it wasn't at us.
Right, yeah.
There's a difference. She was confiding her friends while we were playing Barbies in the bedroom. But again, like my godmother, she put that even more into perspective when she was talking about my mom, how she was like, your mom suffered a lot, but she never lost sight of you guys as her kids, and she always was like, what do I gotta do to better my life? What do I gotta do to survive this? What I gotta do to, you know, like leave this man and let this man leave me alone, so that my kids don't have to suffer anymore. So I have newfound respect for my mom, and especially when I was cheated on, when my ex cheated on me, I found newfound respect for my mom, that she dealt with that over and over and over again, and still showed up as a mom, and still didn't talk shit about my dad every day.
Yeah. I think ultimately that's it. I mean, it's different for everybody. You know, everybody's going to react to their situations differently. I think she did great by not bashing your dad. you know, to you guys.
Now it's different. Now she knows. She's like, now she's like, oh, your father called you? What he want? Because you know he only calls when he wants something. Or like, did he call you on your birthday? I said, no, you know he didn't call me on my birthday. And you know he's going to message me and being like, tú no me llama. I'm like, mofo, you forgot my birthday. You literally, I messaged you, I called you 3 days before my birthday to say hi because you were complaining that I don't call you, and literally you didn't message me on my birthday, but you complaining I don't call you. Come on, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, everybody deals with things differently. You know, I just knew that for myself.
Now she talks shit.
I was never going to be that woman. You know, I was never gonna be.
It's also because you have a mom that is that woman, right? So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to feel.
I just didn't want to. Yeah, I didn't want to be like that.
You don't want to.
Didn't want to be like that.
Repeat history.
I didn't feel like it was necessary because I always knew in the back of my mind that my daughter was always gonna find out. She was always gonna find out on her own. So
kids always find out.
Yeah. So what was the point of me bad mouthing him, saying negative things about him, or what was that was just gonna stress me out, you know, and me pouring that kind of energy into that, it just wasn't worth it for me.
I do have a separate question. How open are you talking about sex with your daughter?
Very open.
And she tells you things?
Well, I don't know if I should say.
No, you should. I was gonna say you shouldn't say anything that is private for her.
No. Very open.
Okay.
She's open with me.
She asks you questions, things like that.
She'll ask me questions. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
I'm really curious how.
But I wasn't like that with my mom.
Oh no, me neither.
I wasn't like that with my mom.
Now,
as I got older,
I talked to my mom.
But like, when I was younger, no.
I mean, even with my mom now, I'm trying to think. How do I talk to her about sex? I mean, you know, my mom be joking when we on sex. It's like, because you know, my moving situation is changing, and I will disclose that when it's done. But one of the things she says, ay, si tú tienes que largar un grito. And like if I have to, you know, I have to scream because it's so good and I orgasm. And you're going to be okay with so-and-so hearing you. And I was like, I mean, then I have to pull a pillow over my head or something because I'm not going to contain myself.
Oh my God.
But like, she'll say something like that, or like, she'll be like, about my sister. Oh, pero Adaina, her name is Adaina in Spanish. Adaina está sonriendo mucho. Or like, she's smiling extra. She must have got good last night. Like, I'm like, mother, who are you? But when we were kids, my mom was such a prude.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, and she was raised to be like a good girl, and she raised us to be good girls and to not sleep around. And she never said to me, that's one thing. Conversations with my mom about sex were never like, you can't sleep with men, you know, it was never that double standard, but it was like, make sure that the man that you are intimate with, that like they respect you, they love you. My mom never said you gotta wait till marriage, because she didn't wait till marriage with my dad. Okay. She wasn't married to my dad. She was maybe I shouldn't say this. She was pregnant with my sister when she got married to my dad. That's not why they got married, you know, but I don't feel like my mom ever gave me the connotation of like, I have to be married. But I did have in the back of my mind, like, don't sleep around. Mostly because it's like, men don't respect you. Men don't, because those were the conversations. Right, yeah. I don't know what type of conversations I'm going to have with my son about sex because he's a boy.
It's different. Yeah.
It's different. And I'm hoping that he talks to not just his dad, but to me about it, because I am a woman. And I do think it's important for boys and even for women to see the other side and learn about the other side of sex.
But that's something that, you know, that's your job, that you would have to let him know and feel, you know, that comfortableness to be able to, oh my God, can you imagine?
I mean, I tell him all the time, you know, you gotta teach your kids really young, I believe, that they can trust you, and that it's a safe space.
That's important.
And so I tell Evan all the time, Papi, you can tell me anything, even if you think you're gonna get in trouble, even if you're embarrassed, like, I want to know everything. And like, and if I get in trouble, I'm like, you know when you're going to get in trouble? If you do something wrong that's inappropriate. And I don't even, this isn't even like sexual stuff, just in general. And you don't tell me. Because I say to him, because mommy's always going to find out. Right,
exactly.
I'm always going to find out the truth, okay?
Exactly.
If you lie to me or hide it, that's going to be worse. But in terms of like, when I talk to him now, like I ask him, do you have a crush? Or... and you know, he's like, oh yeah, like he has crushes on my friends. He has a crush on Jessi. She's cuddly. And when he says cuddly, and he'll ask me my friends, oh, what about you? Oh, Jenny. Oh yeah, she's pretty, mommy. Or he'll look at pictures. Who's that, mommy? Or he'll see Beyonce, mommy. She's really cuddly. And then one day he was like, mommy, can you find Mariah Carey on my iPad? Can you find a video of Mariah Carey talking? And I said, all right, baby. And he heard her. He was like, mommy, she's extra cuddly. And I was like, and I do ask him,
That's cute.
So what do you mean by cuddly, puppy? That I have a crush on them, okay? And how does it make you feel? He was like, it makes me feel funny down there. So he does. Like, I ask him and I say, I want you to tell me like any questions you have, about a woman's body. And he'll be like, ooh, teta, what? Because I grew up with my mom like always naked. And I walk around naked in front of Evan. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But I have had to tell him, papi, like, it's not appropriate for you to, like, hug me in a certain way and rub me. Because he is going to be 10. Right, and, the moms are always the first one. They start humping. Yes. Boys, they don't care you're the mom. They see you and they're like, ooh, you got a butt? And he'll start rubbing my butt sometime. Or he'll smack my butt. He's like, mommy, you got a big butt. And I'm like, okay, papi, it's funny. But also, you need to know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
Exactly.
And I always, so those conversations are already happening here.
Yes, and that's very important.
He's 10. He's gonna be 10.
I also feel like what's super duper important is when you tell your kids, you can come to me, you can talk to me about anything, be honest with me. Don't make it a negative. Don't be negative about it. Don't, but this, no, like, listen to your kids, listen to your child, be as positive as you can be, but don't turn
Hide
it around.
Your shock face.
Yeah.
When they tell you something, I mean, sometimes he'll ask me something and I'm like, oh my God, how am I supposed to answer this? I want to teach him what's appropriate, but like, I don't want to. Right. It's a fine line between shaming them.
Exactly.
And teaching them what's appropriate.
Because then you're going to take that trust away from them and then they're not going to want to talk to you about
anything. And also
anything.
Like their autonomy. Like I want my son to feel sexually, like that sex isn't shameful. Right. That having that desire isn't shameful. While also teaching him if he likes women, which right now he likes girls, teaching him that like you still have to respect women, boys and girls, right?
Yeah.
And so even like when it comes to homosexuality, for example, like I was watching something on TV. What was I watching? I was watching something on TV and it was seen like two men were kissing. And I don't turn that. There's parents that will like turn it off. I don't turn it off. And then another scene, there's like a gay couple, a lesbian couple, and the women were kissing. Like I turn it off if it's sex, right? Heterosexual, homosexual,
right?
But like there were, and he was like, "Ooh, mommy, those two boys were kissing." I said, "It's okay, papi. Sometimes boys like boys, and sometimes girls." And then, "Ooh, those two girls were kissing." I was like, "Yeah," and sometimes girls like girls. So I'm very open to him about it, and he does, he has met husbands. He has met, my sister, one of her really close friends is gay and is married to, two of her really close friends are gay and married to men, right? And my son has been to one of their houses and we spent the weekend in North Carolina with them. And he was like, "Mommy, he has a husband." I'm like, "Yeah, he has a husband." "And they have kids?" I'm like, "Yeah, because there's ways that," and so there's no way in hell that my son is going to be like, ashamed of being who he is, whatever way, whatever naturally he like he's feeling when he's of that age, that it's like he might be like, "Mommy, I'm gay." Okay.
Yeah.
But there's no shame. So I want to be open with him about everything, including like, it's not just men and women who fall in love.
Right. And that's important. That's important. That's
I know reality, you're a big advocate of that. Yeah.
Very big. Very big. Yeah. Like, don't even, we will get into it. Like, we will really, with my husband has a friend.
With all the Karens. And
my husband has a friend that he's, we go back and forth.
It's hard. It's hard.
And not that I want to change anybody's opinion. Like, everybody's entitled to their opinions. And I get that. But everybody's also has the right to love who they want to love.
Exactly.
And be who they want to be
including your children. Yep. Which is why, I'm not shoving things on his face, but if I'm watching something or if he asks me a question about it, I'm going to be, because it's real life. It's real life. Like, this and there's nothing wrong with it, right? And I'm going to love him no matter who he loves. Absolutely. Right?
Absolutely.
And I always tell him that, like, I'm going to love you no matter, I don't say who you love because he's young, but I tell him, Papi, mommy's going to love you unconditionally. Mommy's going to love you if you make a mistake, if you do the best you can. If you don't do so great, if you get in trouble in school, I tell him, no matter what, I love you forever and ever and ever.
And that's so important. And
I say now and forever, no matter what. Even if you make a mistake, even if you don't do the best job at school, even if sometimes you have an attitude with me, because he's gonna be 10, so he has like, what? I'm like, let's get up. Excuse me. So yeah, but I'm curious to see how those conversations will continue as he gets older. He will be 10 in June. Puberty is, around the corner, and he's shown me his chola and been like, "Mami, look, cuando está para." When he has he's like, "Mami, look, mami, look," and I'm like, "Whoa, puppy, what is like?" The first time it happened, he was like, "What is happening? What is it, mommy? So what is it?" And I tell him, "Well, this is what happens when." This is natural, puppy. This is what happens to boys and happens to men. And I asked him, what were you doing or thinking about? And he was like, oh, somebody that was cuddly. Like, he told me he was thinking about a girl that he had a crush on. I said, well, that's natural. This happens. I said, puppy, this happens when you're thinking about a girl that you find cuddly. Right. Because you have a crush on them. Yeah. So this is very natural. So don't be ashamed. But you have to, still protect your private parts. You can't show them to people. You can't, I always emphasize that, especially at his age, with everything that happens in the world. Like, you can be open, but like, it's still your private. And it's again, it's that line of like, how do I tell him this is your private parts, and you need to, not protect show them off and protect them without shaming him.
Exactly.
Like, it's just a weird way to have the conversation, because and the thing is that nobody had the conversation with me. So because nobody had the conversation with me, I don't know how to have it with my son. My mom just said, close your legs.
Don't sit on no man's lap.
Don't sit on no man's lap.
They
didn't tell me why. Not even your uncle. They didn't tell me. I mean, sometimes not even my dad. They didn't even tell me why. But I was like, well, I can't sit. I think that's why in college I sat in all the men's laps. In college, it was high school too. I was like, if my mom saw me now, she'd be mad as fuck. Because I was like, there's a lap. Yeah, I got a lap. You got a lap. You got a lap. Everybody got sweaty on their lap. Because I was so stifled. But obviously, I'm an adult. I understand. I understand why my mom did the thing she did. But she never explained anything to me. So I'm learning how to explain these concepts to my son, brand new, with no guide.
And that's where you change. That's where you change the generational.
Yes.
Patterns.
Yes. I should say. And I do think that talking to your kids about sex, about love, about relationships, especially those topics, breaks generational curses.
Absolutely.
It does. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I really wanted to have a girl, because I was like, I want to be the mother of a daughter that like knows better, that like loves herself from jump, not because she's pretty, not because she puts makeup on, not because of her body, not because she's trying hard, or but just because you breathe, you deserve the world. Exactly. Just because you're alive, you deserve to be treated like a damn queen. Right? And so I really wanted a girl to break that generational curse, but God had the plans, and I feel like I'm breaking the generational curse from my father's side with my son.
Okay.
And as a mom, as a woman, I broke the cycle of, I didn't break the cycle of like divorce, but I broke the cycle of choosing fathers who weren't present.
Okay.
Because my dad wasn't present.
Right.
And even.
Was your mom's dad? Do you know?
Yes.
He was?
He was.
Okay.
But like my uncles, even though they were present, from what my first cousins tell me, especially my female cousins, they weren't emotionally available. Okay. But I think that's a very Latino mature culture thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
Right. And so I think I broke the cycle for my son where like he's not only picking him up, but he's like active, engaged, goes to meetings with me. We talk about everything. If Evan does something, he'll send it to me. Any milestone or like any issues we have or concerns, like we talk about it. He's an engaged parent, just like I'm an engaged parent. Right. Yeah, and like, it's not one of those like, well, I'm a dad and I pick you up and we play ball and you're with me every other weekends, and a couple of days a week. But like, I don't know what's happening in school. Like he helps him with his homework. He does math with him. I do reading. Like we really do divide and conquer in terms of Evan. Yeah.
That's good.
And we're like, oh, so what are we going to do this summer? he'll research things. You know, he was the one that like booked the DC trip and like researched all these outings for him. So I feel like he's an active participant. And I know that as much as my uncles were present, and that's lovely, like my dad wasn't even around. So to me, that was like a step up because at least they were around and they were providing.
Yeah, of course.
But being a parent, especially being a father, is not just about providing. It's about way more than that. So I did break that cycle with the man that I chose to have a child with, because I did choose. That was a planned baby, girl. And I remember thinking, I'm not going to, if I'm going to have a child, I'm going to be very intentional and very selective, because this man cannot be anything like my dad. And my ex is nothing like my father.
That's good. You did good, girl. You did
Thank
good.
you. He wasn't the partner for me, but he was the father for my son. So I appreciate it 100%. Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Do you have a truth bomb?
My truth bomb is just love your kids.
Love
no
your
matter
kids.
what. No matter who they love, who they want to be with. If they excel in life, if they don't, the way you planned for them to excel in life, just love your kids. Show them love, show them affection. Be honest with them, not in a negative way. And just be there for them.
Nice.
Just be there for them.
My truth bomb was different, but I'm going to do not one with the topic, because I did have something that I realized around my birthday, but it just changed right now in the moment because you said that. So I would say just be like very intentional when you're building that relationship with your children, because it is so easy to fall into patterns of how we were raised.
Yes.
And so I'm very like, okay, how do I want to approach this? And yeah, I have flashes of my mom where I'm like, yo, that's some shit my mom would say. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm reacting just like my mom. Like the nagging, I've noticed that like sometimes I do a lot of nagging with Evan, right? Or my personality is very rushed, right? And so Evan is a very laid back, passive, chill kid. Like he likes to, he walks at a leisurely pace, you know? He's a stroller. And so I'm trying to be more intentional in like respecting who he is and not trying to force him to be like I need him to be. And I think our parents, at least generationally, that like it was like, well, this is the type of kid you have to be because this is who I am, and this is what I rock with. So just be intentional with like listen to your kids, let your kids be who they are, right? And meet them where they're at.
Exactly.
Academically, that's what I do with Evan. I don't compare him to other kids. I meet him where he's at.
Yeah, that's another
But
thing.
Intentionality is so important so that you can break a cycle where your kids don't feel like they have to be like you, where your kids don't have to feel like, you know, they're constantly like disappointing you because they're not, you know, and I feel like a lot of like with my mom, I didn't feel disappointed, but I felt like she expected me to be a certain type of kid, right? She expected all her kids to be a certain type of kid.
Oh, the comparison.
Yes.
With other kids.
She didn't compare me to my sister or my brother. She was actually really good at that. But I feel like she, you know, parents have expectations of their kids.
Right.
Like, we're like, well, I didn't raise you like that, so why are you like that? Right? Well, I'm not that type of person, and you didn't have that example in my household, so why are you? And I'm like, because he's his own person. So even though I teach him to be a certain way and I teach him right and wrong, what's right and wrong for him, what's the way that he moves, the decisions that he makes as he grows is going to be based on who he is as a person and his personality. Yeah. And that is a hard pill to swallow if your kids are doing things that you would not do. Because in your mind, you're like, but that I don't think that's the right way, but it's the right way for them. Exactly. So I'm very intentional about that. Like letting Evan be who he is while still parenting him as who I am. It's a balance. It is. You know, it's a balance.
That's important. And just be their safe space.
Yes.
Be their safe space.
Yes. And that's why I'm trying to stop nagging as much, because I feel like when you do nag, when you're constantly like, don't do this, don't do that. I was like, oh, my mom's coming out. You know, I don't want him to feel like he's constantly doing something wrong. Yeah. Because then that creates that resistance and that feeling of like,
I'm not good enough.
I'm walking on eggshells. I'm not good enough. Yeah. So I'm being very intentional, because even though I'm not meaning to nag him, I like my things cleanly. He's a little messy. It drives me freaking crazy. He's also a boy. Boys tend to be a little bit more disorganized. But I'm trying to like teach him, yeah, you need to be responsible. Put away your things, but like not constantly bitch and moan.
Exactly.
Because I don't want, because he's like, mommy, are you mad at me? Like, he's a very sensitive boy. Yeah. Yeah, girl, being a mom is something. It's the best blessing and the biggest lesson in the world. It really is.
What's our journal prompt?
So I do have a journal prompt this week, guys. I thought about it while I was washing dishes. So it was the new moon in Aries on April, I think 18th it was. And a new moon, if you all don't know about astrology, is like when is a time to set new intentions, basically based on like where Aries is in your chart. So I won't go into all that because there's a whole lot of people gonna be like, I don't know where Aries is in my chart. You have to know your rising sign. What the hell is a rising sign, Sujeiry? But a new moon is just setting new intentions. So I want everyone, wherever they're listening, think about this, write this down, set a new intention for like the rest of spring, right? What do you want to accomplish? And it's a new moon in Aries. Aries, I'm an Aries. It's the first sign of the zodiac. Aries is the action planet. Mars is its ruler. If you know anything about Mars, it's hot, it's energetic. It goes. So the energy in this new moon is take action on a dream. Take action on something you've been working on, thinking about. Stop sitting idly by, waiting for time to pass for the perfect time. Just freaking do it.
That's it.
So write down what that is. And write down the next step you're going to take to make that shit happen. New moon in Aries. Mic drop. Aries season is over tomorrow. Bah, bah, bah. I'm at the end of Aries season, but it's always a great season because I feel extra rejuvenated. I feel like a lot of people get really rejuvenated in Aries season because it's spring.
Yeah.
It's
that's
spring,
true.
and it kicks off everything.
Yeah, I definitely.
The trees are blooming.
Yep.
The birds are like, even everyone's like, Mommy, the birds are so happy. I'm like, yeah, baby, because it's Aries season.
I love it.
And it's my birthday. So they're like, go, beep, 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 beep. Go, Sujeiry, it's your birthday. All right. That's all I got.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
we
you
will
all.
see you all next week. You guys know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, YouTube.
YouTube. Watch us on YouTube. Thank
Watch
you
us
for
on
the YouTube
YouTube.
subscribers. We have gotten new YouTube subscribers.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they're coming from Instagram. I think people are just watching us and loving us.
Thank you. We
Of course you
appreciate
are.
it. We will see you next week.
DM us.
It's going to be the last one.
We will just
will talk about it.
We'll talk about when the last episode will be. We do have a lot of like May. I'm just not gonna be here. I have 3 trips.
I have a lot
in May.
of things going on in May.
June, I'm going to Europe, and it's my
so
son's birthday.
it's,
it's just a lot of
yeah,
things
there's a lot going on.
So we might end this
A little
season
early?
a little earlier than
Maybe?
intended.
I don't know.
We will play it by ear.
We will let you guys know.
Follow
we love
us,
you guys.
the Straight Up Pod on Instagram.
You know the deal.
When you follow us, the Straight Up Pod on Instagram, then you'll know when we're recording. If we're not recording, if it's skip a week, you'll get all the details there.
Love you guys.
Love
See
you
next week.
Bye.
Bye.